Hey folks, and welcome to the latest installment of Dave's Impressions. This time around, The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind. These impressions were taken from playing the game for around 8 hours and 30 minutes. Enjoy! I want to start by talking about mods. Usually with any game, but older games specifically, I want to play them as close to the original experience as I can. With Morrowind, that was not able to happen for two reasons. Firstly, OBS, my recording software, couldn't record the game until I installed a mod that enabled a graphics overhaul. I didn't use any of the graphics features of this mod, but having it installed allowed me to record the game. Much later, I was having trouble with two quests for the guilds. There's a quest for the Fighters Guild where I had to get a code book from the Thieves Guild, and there's a quest from the Thieves Guild where I had to get a key to one of the manors in Balmorra. I created a character with Sneak as one of their major attributes. Sadly, no matter how much I upgraded Sneak, I was not able to pickpocket successfully. It seems in the base game, pickpocketing is broken. The higher you upgrade your Sneak skill, the harder it is to steal anything. I downloaded a fan patch which fixed pickpocketing along with solving other issues. I like the freedom Morrowind provides. Right from the get-go, I feel like I'm set loose in this world and I have the ability to make it my own. To have an effect on it, which is what all power fantasies are about, how one person can take on the world. A sense of adventure, a sense of possibilities and potential. I felt this more strongly here than I did in Arena or Daggerfall. For example, there's a silt strider in the first town, Seyda-Neen, and it can take you to Balmorra, the first port of call for the main quest. I thought to myself, yes, I could take the silt strider, but I'd rather take the roads, walk there, go out into the world, and let the game come at me. By doing that, I discovered Pellegrade, and I went into a couple of crypts and bandit camps. I quickly ran out of them as I was too low level to survive, but I had more stories to tell by not using the fast travel system. In all my time with the game, I didn't uncover that much of the world map. On the one hand, it's impressive with how small the map is, again compared to Arena or Daggerfall, but seeing that I spent 8.5 hours in the game and I only uncovered the southwest corner, it furthers that sense that there's a whole world to explore. Also, there's the idea that the world is slowly opening up to me the more time I spend in it. The more the townsfolk of Balmorra talk to me as I pass, the more friendly everyone is. The more I leveled up and the more experience I got, the more I felt I was starting to understand not only how the game worked, but how the world worked. Who the major players are, what's actually been happening here, and why the Emperor sent a no-name prisoner there to further his interests. Because of the Emperor sending the player to Morrowind, I thought it would be fun to play an agent. Unlike Arena and Daggerfall, I felt like whatever class I ended up choosing, there was no wrong choice. I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure it's very easy to pick some skills that leave you unprepared for the world at large, or at least at a supreme disadvantage, until you trained enough skills to compensate. The agent is good at speechcraft, good at talking to people. It has proficiency with light armor and short blades, kind of roguish. I've always liked rogue characters. It also has the sneak ability, so that's pickpocketing. And it has acrobatics, which is odd. It brings up an issue I had with the game. The more you use a skill, the more it will upgrade. So since I had acrobatics, and acrobatics is tied to jumping, I found myself jumping around the map. If I had enough stamina, I would hop from town to town. It looked ridiculous, but it upgraded a skill that I don't even know if I really want to upgrade. My thought is, it's one of my major skills, so why not upgrade it? Same thing with speechcraft. Everyone I met, I would compliment them to raise their impression of me to get that speechcraft skill up. I feel it breaks immersion, but I can see how it's a clever idea in theory, tying actions in game to getting better at those actions, so the player levels up by doing. With training, you don't have to use your skills to upgrade them. There are characters in the game that are able to train you in that skill. Training costs money, a lot of it. I think it's what level you are in the skill that dictates how much you pay, because I was training skills I was not adept in, like block or athletics, and they were rather cheap to start with. Of course, how well a trainer thinks of you will affect the price they charge, and some won't train you unless you join the guild they're affiliated with. Like most games, it seems rough when you're just starting out, but I imagine it doesn't take too many hours to feel adept in the skills you've decided to dedicate your time to. Then the rest is just gravy. Due to all the time I spent in Balmorra, I like that it feels like home. I wonder if I were to continue playing and go to more of the major cities, if that would still be the case. Morrowind is the only Elder Scrolls game I played before, and I remember Vivid quite strongly because of how it chugged along on my computer at the time. I have to wonder if I'd gained such a familiarity with these other cities. Maybe Balmorra will continue to feel like home because it's small and manageable. You start to learn about everyone and how the city itself operates. It was cool going into the Dwarven ruins after playing Redguard because in Morrowind, at this point in the world of Tamriel, the dwarves are gone. They've been gone for some time. No one knows what happened to them, only the ruins remain. Redguard took place in the past, and there was that one guy talking about how because the dwarves don't have magic, they're working on technology, and that will give them an advantage. But maybe it was what destroyed them. I love in the Dwarven ruins that I found a lot of Dwarven coins, which became a good way to make money once I went back to Balmorra and visited the pawnbroker. The best way I found to make money so far is the assassins that kept attacking me when I would sleep. Once you kill them, their gear is not only a useful set of light armor, but it sells for a premium, especially to the merchant in the Fighters Guild because he has 2,000 gold every time I visited him. That certainly helps pay for training and repairs. There's this crypt I went down into. I had to do a quest for the Mages Guild. I had to go down into a family crypt and get the skull of one of the family members. I went into the crypt and wouldn't you know, it's full of skeletons, bone walkers, and spirits, as you would expect from a crypt in a fantasy game. I started exploring. I killed all the undead I came upon, and before long I found the skull. There was a lot of the crypt left to explore, but unlike the ruins, I felt I got what I came for and I wanted to get out of there. I didn't want to desecrate the crypt further, and this brings up an interesting point. It's easy to think of playing an RPG in terms of whatever gets you the most power as a player, especially because this is a game world. It has no effect on reality. I have friends who find it amusing to play the worst characters they're allowed to be in RPGs. I imagine it's cathartic. I have trouble doing that. I like to be as nice as I can in these games. I try and let my values dictate the way I play. I mean to a point. I still went into a family's resting place to excavate a skull, and I like playing thief characters. There's a joy I get from behaving unlike myself, but I guess I try and put the brakes on. I feel bad if I go too far. I think that line might be different for every player. An example of this is a Thieves Guild mission which sent me to a fishing village named Pla Ode. There's a guy who has some artifacts he said he would deliver to the head of the Thieves Guild, and he didn't, so I'm there to retrieve them. There's a trapdoor in his shop. I went down it and realized why he had these artifacts in the first place. He's running a smuggling operation. I talked to the smugglers, and one of them asked me if I would deliver this slave for them. I did not take that quest, because I felt bad about doing it, and as I left the cove and finished the session, I thought to myself, before, when the pickpocketing didn't work, I could have killed those characters and retrieved what I wanted off their corpses, but I didn't want to do that. It went against the way I wanted to play the game. In this instance, I detest the idea of human trafficking. Brave, I know. Smuggling antiquities? It's bad, but I feel indifferent about it in this game world because I'm a member of the Thieves Guild after all. I can't throw stones at glass houses, but the idea of human trafficking, that's a bridge too far. I feel like if I were to continue with my game, I'd probably go back down there and slaughter them all, freeing the slave. It would make me feel better. Morality is complicated. Out of all the Elder Scrolls games I played, this is far and above my favorite. I can easily see myself not only returning to the game, but losing months to it like I did the first time. I'm looking forward to Oblivion and Skyrim even more after revisiting Morrowind, because I want to see if they take a further step in an immersive direction. This game felt the most immersive to me because the technology and the gameplay aren't as antiquated as I felt they were in Arena and Daggerfall. You really have to make allowances for interfacing with those games as a modern player. So, should you play Morrowind? Well, hopefully by now you have an answer to that question. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, why not buy me a coffee? There's a link in the description. If you'd like to help me out in other ways, please like the video, share it on your favorite social media sites, or subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I hope you're all having a wonderful day.